You may have seen the viral video of a nurse getting physically removed from a hospital because she refused to allow a detective to take a blood sample from an unconscious patient. She says she was just following the company policy. The policy set forth by the hospital saying that you need to get permission from patients in order for them to give blood. And the police officer was not gonna take that for an answer. He was doing an investigation into a fatal car crash to see whether the victim of that car crash was under the influence of any narcotics or drugs or anything at that time. Here's how that scene played out in the hospital. Take a look.
Oh, please.
No, we're done. No, we're done. You're under arrest.
Hey.
We're done, sir. I have administrative clinic. Hey,
Seriously. Hey. Hey. Hey.
You're insulting me. Stop. Stop. I'm done.
Hold your phone.
I have administrative.
I'll hold your phone.
There's nothing wrong. Leave my phone.
I have
What is happening?
Hey.
This is crazy.
And this is really unnecessary.
This is crazy.
She's under arrest. It doesn't have to doing her job.
Hey.
That police officer was from the Central Casting Department of disgruntled, powerless feeling police detective who's got one more year on the job before his pension. What an amazing video.
So the whole thing, you just saw, what you guys just saw was just a snippet of it, but if you watch it from its entirety, the Nurse Webbles,
which also sounds like a fictional name.
Yeah, like, hey, Nurse Webbles. She was on the phone with her superior going over itemizing not only the state legislation and state rules in regards to this, but the policy that's set forth by the hospital before this guy took it upon himself to assault her, put his hands on her. And all I got from this one, my brother's a nurse, and when I talked to him about this, he's like, my mom and brother are both nurses. And that was inappropriate, that should never have happened. And what I interpreted from the video was this guy, as you said, was just pissed that a woman was telling him no. And he didn't know how to take it, so he had to. He reacted in the Neanderthal way he knew how, and assaulted this woman. Now, she was not in the wrong in any way, shape, or form. And what also pissed me off even more was you had Boss Hogg, his cohort, standing there like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna do anything. And if you watch the video, you could hear the conversation from the body cam. They were making jokes. They were kind of laughing about it. And so it was very unsettling, and he did absolutely assault her.
It's really, really weird. Yeah, I don't know if it was what specifically set this guy off. If it was a woman telling him no, if it was like his boss not giving him the promotion or whatever. But it did seem very clear to me that something else that was no fault of this nurse was what set this guy off to go grab her. And also this is a hospital policy, and there is no way that a hospital would draft a policy that is in conflict with the law.
Right.
Like, hospital lawyers go to work and they make sure that the policy is drafted so that they don't get sued.
Yeah.
So they don't want to get sued by this patient who had blood taken from him without his permission because he was unconscious. The police officer, I get it, like, if it's a toxicology related incident, then you know over time, especially if they're putting medicine into the patient, that it is a matter of moments, an hour, maybe an hour window where you can really get the kind of results that you want, or it'll wear off. But there's no excuse. The later on is actually an equally troubling part that involves no physical harm whatsoever. Later in the video, there's like a good cop. There's a gray-haired good cop, if you watch it, and it's a really long video, who comes up and tries to explain it to her, like, listen, I know where you're coming from. But the way he explains to her what's happening is more troubling, is equally as troubling, because he says, listen, I'm on your side. What you're doing, we have to get justice. What you're doing is obstruction of justice. And the way he describes it to her tries to make her feel like, actually, I know that you're just following policy and I'm definitely better than that guy, but you have to let us take that blood because it's just, otherwise I mean, I'm sorry that you got arrested, but we would have to arrest you anyway. And that kind of bullshit is not okay. It's so unethical. It's that good cop, bad cop stuff where she doesn't have a lawyer. And later on, she was not charged with anything, thank goodness. And she was issued an apology. That officer that you saw grab her was put on leave. And in addition, I read somewhere that she got an apology from the hospital because they said they needed a better security system in place to make sure that she's not the one who has to go to bat against this police officer, but rather there's someone else that they can talk to on a more equal footing to say, actually, that is the policy of this hospital. But I mean, I can't believe that officer
that's snapped that quickly. She also gave an interview later on and talked about why, Nurse Webbles she's very, very, very dedicated to her job. She went on to say that that's that person's blood, that's their life force. So I mean, that's their property. You don't have consent to take their property.
Yeah.
And I agree with you that the good cop, if you will, kind of trying to manipulate her, and it's really sketchy. And again, it's this. I'm sorry, I feel as though in my heart of hearts, and you guys may disagree, that because she was a woman, had it be me, well, okay, no, because I'm a black male, I might have
exactly. We wouldn't have seen it.
I mean, I might
or
have
if we
shot on sight,
right?
But
and he would.
But I mean,
he would have been trashed.
But had it been a male, and things may have transpired a little bit differently. So, but at the end of the day,
I see that for sure.
I mean, and that's just not me playing race or the male card, but I believe that that's what transpired. So, yeah, the video. If you can watch the video in its entirety, it's definitely eye-opening. And hopefully things like this won't happen again. And her supervisor was on the phone telling him, like, dude, you don't want to do this, buddy. This is not the movie you want to make, and you still proceeded. So
yeah, we'll see what happens. If there's any charges against a police officer, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. This has been a really good episode. We made it through, and we love you. And it's because of who you are, not what you are. Love you. Bye.